So, high quality candidate update. Two Labour MPs are in big trouble after some leaked WhatsApp messages. The first one was Health Minister Andrew Gwynne, and he was sacked after he had messages that were leaked to the press. And he said some pretty damn messed up things. So it starts off with a non Labour supporting pensioner. They wrote to a Labour councillor, and the councillor then added the complaint to a WhatsApp group called Trigger Me Timbers. Whilst I'm in no way responsible for your re-election, I thought this would be an appropriate time to contact you with regard to bin collections. My husband and I are both 72 years old. And Gwynne then says, Dear resident, fuck your bins. I'm re-elected and without your vote, screw you. P.S. Hopefully you'll have croaked it by the all-outs. Nice. Then there's another exchange between Gwynne and somebody else or colleagues, and he makes some anti-Semitic remarks while discussing a Labour Party meeting. And one councillor asks if an American Jewish psychologist called Marshall Rosenberg will attend. So will Marshall Rosenberg be there? Gwynne says no, he sounds too militaristic and too Jewish. Is he a Mossad? Then earlier on he said Joffrey the giraffe says don't be nasty to the Jews. Then on another occasion Gwynne and others mocked Labour MP Diane Abbott. Of course they did. Who's ready for Diane at PMQs? Gwynne goes, yep, because it's Black History Month, apparently. Was David Lammy not available? I'd also take the corpse of Bernie Grant or Desmond Swain or Justin Trudeau. Of course, Trudeau did blackface like years ago. And then at the ends, they take the mick out of a local resident who's campaigning for more cycle lanes. Lost the will. That Nick is something else. Gwynne then says, I had positive visions of him getting mown down by an Elsa waste HEV whilst he's cycling to the follow field loop. We couldn't be that lucky. Really nice stuff. Now, after all this leaked to the press, Gwynne apologised on Twitter. I deeply regret my badly misjudged comments and apologise for any offence I've caused. I've served the Labour Party all my life, and it was a huge honour to be appointed a minister by Keir Starmer. I entirely understand the decisions the PM and the party have taken, and while very sad to have been suspended, will support them in any way I can. Now, some pundits are trying to use this to attack the left, calling Gwynne a Corbynite, and this is the sort of unique behaviour from the left. This is Simon Meyerson, by the way, just an all-round piece of shit. He says, in quotes, his name is too Jewish. Gwynne proving that Corbynistas don't just hate Israel, they hate Jews. The Financial Times' George Parker wrote, Sir Keir Starmer has sacked Andrew Gwynne, a health minister, after offensive comments shared on a WhatsApp group came to light. The Prime Minister sacked Gwynne, an ally of former left-wing Labour leader Jeremy Corbyn, on Saturday night as soon as he became aware of the comments, a spokesperson for Starmer said. Well, I've got some news for you. Gwynne isn't a Corbynista, he isn't on the left. Just because he isn't as right-wing as the current leadership doesn't automatically make him a member of the Labour left. He was never part of the SCG, the Socialist Campaign Group. He supported Starmer in 2020, and he supported Owen Smith over Corbyn in 2016. So how can you say he's a Corbynista when he literally didn't want him as leader? And he's also a member of Labour Friends of Israel. Now, no Corbyn ally or vaguely left-wing MP will be a part of LFI. But of course, yet again, this is an example of Starmer's quality candidates. Faiza Shaheen, well, she wasn't good enough to be a Labour MP, but Mike Amesbury, the guy who assaulted a constituent, well, he was good enough. Andrew Gwynne, who wasn't simply a backbench MP, he had a ministerial role. Well, obviously, he was good enough. Absama Begum, Zara Sultana, they don't have the whip back, and they're on the left. If Gwynne was an actual leftist, he probably would have been purged sooner or later, or at least he wouldn't have been given a ministerial role. Now, on to the second MP. That's Oliver Ryan. He's been named in some more messages. So Andrew Gwynne posted a clip of Politics Live in the chat. It was that famous clip of Angela Smith calling brown people a funny tinge when Ash Sarkar was present. So the councillor, or one councillor goes, bloody hell. Another councillor goes, world's hardest facepalm. Then Gwynne pulls a face. Then Ryan goes, I need to amend the latest Audenshaw leaflet, which is a town in Greater Manchester. And then the ex-councillor makes a laughing emoji. Then Gwynne goes, to be fair, Oliver, the term would win you votes in parts of Audenshaw. I mean, just smearing your voters there. And by the way, this is in Manchester. Manchester's young and progressive, typically. They didn't make a joke about a Labour MP who, obviously the mayor was not naming, being gay. Activist said, I thought a funny tinge was a feeling you got when you danced with Oliver at the mayor's charity ball. And then Gwynne goes, no, that's a smelly M. Oh. Ex-councillor, I'll tell you has a smelly M. which is obviously a Labour MP they're talking about. Then Gwynne goes, the people's M, and then just laughing emojis. Then they carry on. Oliver Ryan takes part in apparently a homophobic banter with an ex-councillor about the same MP. MP is a thick, posh, lazy oaf, factually correct but lacks pizzazz. Ryan goes, the straight choice. Then the councillor goes, hashtag sodomite for Labour MP's constituency. That's great, smearing queer people as sodomites. Classic homophobic trope. Then in another thread, Gwynne and Ryan make jokes about a Labour activist called Colin Bailey. Ryan goes, Colin goes to conference. Then a councillor goes, carry on Colin, he was made up. Gwynne goes, unlike Colin Cumface. Ryan, deaf Colin Cumface. Now I don't know if he's saying deaf as in definitely Colin Cumface or if he's actually saying he's deaf. Regardless though, pretty weird and disgusting stuff. And as vulgar as this is, it's also really shit banter. I didn't get it. Now, I'm not surprised by any of this. I mean, Labour are a party of nasty fuckers. Their factional wars against the left wasn't just ideological, it was also vindictive and spiteful. And these people are in control of the party. And I just want to say as well, can people give Diane Abbott a fucking break? She is the most abused MP in the country, and half of it comes from her own party. Now, some of the messages Gwynne wrote, he made anti-Semitic remarks. Now, if you want proof that he isn't on the left of the party or a Corbyn ally, watch this clip, and I apologise for the poor quality.
I know is not anti-Semitic, he is not homophobic, he isn't racist, and he's posted terrible things. And you think, what were you doing?
Who's the real Andrew Gwynne?
Well, that's that.
You've got to, I know, you've got to ask.
And look, he stood down and said, are these people fit to be MPs? If they're putting these views in a public domain, which it is semi-public and whatsoever, are they fit to be an MP? I don't think they are.
Andrew Gwynne's spoken very...
So you see, Ed Balls defended Andrew Gwynne, saying he's not racist, he's not homophobic, and he's not anti-Semitic. Have you noticed that the media hasn't really mentioned anti-Semitism all that much, or they haven't led in with it? So Corbyn is smeared as Hitler 2.0, yet you can't find a single piece of evidence or a clip of him saying something anti-Semitic. Well, we have Gwynne doing exactly that, and the pundit class, i.e. Ed Balls, who's just a Labourite hack, is defending him. This is Keir Starmer's Labour Party.
Support independent media, support social justice that's there on social media. Thank you. Turn left.